Hello, welcome. This is one more video on my channel, and this will be going to be a series of 7 to 8 videos. And these videos I will be adding in the category of motivation, career development, etc. So, why I'm preparing this series of 8 to 9 videos? I have some time today, so I will prepare 4 or 5 videos today. The main reason of preparing the videos is to have some more content on my video and to give a bigger picture to myself and to the people who will be watching or who might watch today, tomorrow, or over the period of some time on this channel, many videos or coming videos or many things like that. But the first thing which I have written down and I want to cover today is about job interview tips for freshers, for people who would be graduating, and this would be basically tips for people who are going to appear on interviews, on campus placement, etc. So, what are my tips to them? Are basically I'll be covering step by step what is campus placement based on my experience. So, as you'd have seen, or people who are new coming to this video, you would have come through this video somewhere. You are just stumbled upon this video. So just to them that my channel, currently what I'm covering on this channel has been something related to education stuff. So I want to, and most of the stuff has been something related to engineering, graduation, etc. Graduation course materials, etc. So what I want to cover is that if you are a graduate student or if you're an engineer, so something what you will be facing immediately or you're going to face in your career life or something quickly is campus placement, and you would have to appear for an interview for a job, and campus placement interview or a fresher job interview somewhere is going to be something which you'll have to face quickly or in the coming days or years. So when I was graduating, I did not have much idea or nobody was there to give me a bigger picture of what campus placement was all about, what were the different steps which happened during the campus placement, and how could I have better prepared for campus placement. Though I got placed in one of the good companies, I got a package of close to 4 lakh that time, which was in 2012, around 6 years back. So not even 6 years back, around 4 years back. So that was close to 4 lakh package which I got in one of the good companies, and that was after I failed in many interviews. So when I say I failed in many interviews, I failed in 4 or 5 interviews. Just speaking, 3 of the good interviews or 3 interviews in good companies which through the whole process I could not clear. And after that, I got selected in one of the best companies which came. So it was a little bit surprising even for me, but that was what I planned. I planned to get selected in that company and it got worked out. And again, it was not the best thing afterwards, but even it was something which happened best for me that time. So coming quickly to the point and not wasting time. So this is going to be much of a talk actually, rather than having a small video explaining many things. And if you are going for campus placement and if you're going to attend campus placement, then what the first thing which I want you to cover is that what is the best time to prepare, start preparing. So the best time to start preparing would be the third year of your engineering career. And usually some of the big colleges or some of the colleges which come in the top 20 or 30 or top 10 may have campus placement starting from the third year itself. So during that time, you will have to prepare from the second year or end of the second year, and most of the things which will be covered would be based on what happened on the last year. And again, if you are preparing for the in your college, the campus placement is starting from the ending of the third year or the starting of the fourth year. So in my case, it was mostly starting of the fourth year, the campus placement used to start. And when I first attended my campus placement in one of the good companies, I was not prepared. It was informed just 10 days back. So I did not have much time and I had not been looking or not being in the flow to attend campus placement either during the last years. So there is nothing much to prepare if you are there is nothing that you have to do extra. So you just have to keep in mind that the placement is going to come next year, that is the fourth year if you are in the third year, and you'll have to keep all the important points noted down, important points in your mind. So the main thing which you'll have to keep in mind is that technical interview, which will be more related to just the contents or just the subjects which have passed, or just the subjects which you studied. So the subjects which you studied in the second year and the third year will be related to technical stuff, would be more important, and you like to revise them during the vacation periods or during the free times. You'd have to note down important points. So in campus placements, during technical interviews, most of the questions which are asked are not something which is not extraordinary or not something out of the box. Most of the questions which is asked are related to normal technical stuff or normal stuff which are normal doubts or normal outstanding questions in that subjects. So it's not something very unique or very out of the box. One or two questions would come which would be tricky, to be very specific what I want to say, and most of the questions would be normal. So again, you as the first point which I want to say is that you have to prepare starting from your third year, and then the fourth year you'd have to give your interview, and fourth year most of the placements will start. And it would be good if you start having preparation from the third year. Next is that some companies only focus on technical, so they have only a technical written test, which is the first thing that will happen. So why I talk about technical, the first step, when most of the companies will come to your campus for placement, they will have a written test. So the most of the companies could have a written test for only technical, and some of the companies, good companies, also have for both technical and aptitude. So the aptitude part is based from quantitative aptitude, and it could also include verbal and non-verbal reasoning. So these are the questions. So you will not have to be preparing. So these things can't be prepared. Some people, while they are also planning to go for an MBA in your after your fourth year or after graduation, you're also planning to attend for the common aptitude test for MBA, etc. During your fourth year, you could start preparation for that by attending some classes if possible, so that you will get prepared for the aptitude. But if really it's not something which you need special classes, special coaching, or special attention for that, you can buy some of the good books. One book which is very famous is R.S. Agrawal series of books for the aptitude, quantitative aptitude, verbal, non-verbal reasoning. There are many number of books available. So the questions which will be asked will be very similar. And if you are thorough with all the different topics in the quantitative aptitude from R.S. Agrawal, verbal, non-verbal reasoning, then you should be fine to get 30 to 40%, 40 to 50%. But what happens in some of the companies is that the questions of the remaining 50% are very simple, but they try to make it a little bit tricky, and they will not be very much from the books like R.S. Agrawal. There will be something different which you will not have seen somewhere. So those kind of questions are usually only 20 to 30%. And that too only in some companies. They will try to really test you, and the questions would be like very instantaneous, like it could be something which you not have solved. So again, you could get the 30 to 50 to 60% of marks if you are referring to the standard questions which are available in the aptitude. And it don't need much preparation. If you are preparing 10 to 15 days during your vacation time, it would be enough. And again, you would need some 3 to 4 days to revise that before your interview starts. And as the interviews will go, you would get better at it. So again, it's something to keep in mind that you need to prepare for both technical written test, and you need to prepare for both the aptitude test. And again, so what I said now was that during your fourth year there would be campus placement and how to clear the. So till now what I said was that how to clear your written test, and what could be the aptitude and the technical interview. And once you clear your written test, that's the first test that will happen when any company will come to your college for campus placement. After that, the second tip usually would be second step usually would be something like group discussion. So once people who are, suppose there are 50 people in your class, or usually 60 people in a classroom who will be attending the interview, and it could be also based on only the 60 people of your class, or it could be based on the multiple departments like a computer, electrical, uh, civil are usually not included with this, but computer, electrical, mechanical, or IT, etc. So the company could have multiple, select different students from all of them in a group, or they could simply select from a specific class or a department for 5 or 10 people. So usually 10 to 20 people are selected after the written test of the total number of students who sit, and then there could be a common group discussion. So group discussion would be, if you're, could be very common thing for most of the people listening to this video, and even if you don't know, then usually when campus placements will happen, the group discussion topics which would be given would be very instantaneous. Any topic would be given, mostly topics related to something happening recently or something which has been trending in the last 1 year or 2 year could be given, but it could be anything. But there's nothing much to be worried about group discussion, or much to be like to be worried, or much to be tensed about it. Like you would not be able to do that, or it might not happen as needed. But the main points that you need to remember is that you don't need to talk about irrelevant points while the group discussion is happening. You have to keep in mind that you're not going to talk about any irrelevant points, something you'll have to talk about what is very up to the point, or it might give a negative impact. And it's not possible, like a group discussion could happen from 10 to 15 or 20 minutes, and during that time there would be 8 to 10 people in that group, and it will not be possible for you to make more than 3 to 5 points. So what your aim should be is, should be to not, you should try to speak while 10 people are together with you and they are also trying to speak. It will be not possible to make more than 5 points, and at minimum you should try to make close to 3 points, and you should try to make 3 points good. And again, in group discussion, if you are really confident, then you should start first. And when you start first, what will happen is that most of the flow will happen after that according to what you started. So again, the next point is that even if you can't start, then cover up top points from what somebody else has said. So that would be a good idea to what somebody has said, and you have followed that up and you have made a new point relevant to that. So in that way, you can add up points, and usually you'd have to make 3 to 4 good points while you're group discussing, and they will mostly look into your confidence and to the level of knowledge which you have made or something unique. And there could be multiple factors. I never have been on the other side of the panel, so I don't know how they evaluate. So again, after you are selected from the group discussion, there could be a personal interview. So there could be a personal interview which could happen before the group discussion. Also, there could be personal interviews which happen after the group discussion. So there could be a technical round which could happen before the group discussion to further shortlist, or after the group discussion there could be a technical round to further shortlist a candidate. So technical round would be very simple questions, mostly relevant to what you have studied in your last 1 or 2 years, and up to the core topics would be asked. Nothing very out of the box could be asked. Again, there could be a combined interview of a technical and HR, or there could be HR interview which is separately happening, and finally there could be a HR interview and technical interview. And based on the marks of group discussion, HR or technical, the candidate could be finally shortlisted, or based on the group discussion they could shortlist some candidates, and based on the HR or technical interview. So that's all about the different things which would happen. So this was just basically to give a big idea to the freshers or the people who would be coming to my channel and who would be just in going to face their interview in the coming 1 or 2 years. And for them, it was a big overview of how they can prepare themselves ahead of the time. And coming to the HR interview, what will happen in the HR interview is that they will try to test you very much psychologically. So these kind of tests are also known as psychometric tests. So they will more in the HR interview, if it's happening very much separately from the technical interview, what they will try to do is that they will try to evaluate you in a psychological way. They will try to test your personality, and the more of the discussions, the questions which should be asked, it would be not at all to know what anything about you from what you're speaking. Like in a technical interview, what I will answer, they will try to relate that to the point. Like it should be very much correct, whatever topic they have asked, and whatever you're answering should be very much correct or relevant to the knowledge. But in HR interview, it should be relevant to the knowledge. Whatever you ask, if they're asking, you could answer something very much correct to what they have asked, or the question should be answered in a very much correct way. But mostly, as I think, that is a personal opinion again, that the aim of the evaluator is not to know what you answered, but they want to test you psychologically by knowing the way in which you answered, by testing your psychology by what you answered. So again, that kind of interview could happen, but these kind of interviews usually happen for very big companies, and for the smaller companies coming in the campus, they have they quickly wrap up the procedures, not going into much detail of these things. And again, just getting a job through a campus placement is just the first step. So that's all. If you like this video, I will also covering much more videos in this series, and I will also cover one more video about how to prepare for your interview after you have some experience. So this was based on just an overview of how to attend a campus placement interview, and I'll cover some more videos in this series giving more tips to freshers and people looking to get jobs as freshers through campus placement, etc. So again, I'll cover some more videos about the current job scenarios in India, and is it difficult to get job, and etc. So that's all. If you like this video, please do watch other videos in this series. Also to subscribe my channel. And this video, I'm just this series of videos I'm just putting to bring more content into my channel, and as the time goes, I will try to cover more and more technical topics on this channel.